Hello students, welcome to MJC Learning. Today we are going to learn part 7 of chapter number 7 of national income. We have already learned about what is national income, what are the types of national income, what are the measures to calculate national income. And now in this video, that is in part 7 video, we are going to learn about what are the difficulties in the measurement of national income. Let us get started. What are the difficulties in measurement of national income? There are basically two difficulties we find while calculating or measuring national income. First is theoretical difficulties or conceptual difficulties, and second is practical difficulties or statistical difficulties. Let us see one by one. What are the theoretical difficulties? Let us see that first. Theoretical difficulties. Now you have already learned about three measures of calculating national income, that is product method, income method and expenditure method, and we have also seen some of the problems while calculating national income in all the three methods. So taking it to a conclusion, let us see what are the theoretical difficulties while calculating national income. First is transfer payment. Transfer payment means payment which we get transferred. Now, if you remember, generally transfer payments are not calculated in national income as it is not earned and it is just a transferred amount. Individuals get pension or unemployment allowance, but it is not sure or it is not clear whether it should be included in national income. That is a main difficulty while calculating national income. On one hand, these earnings are a part of individual income, and on the other hand, they are government's expenditure because government is transferring amount to the individual's account, so it is transfer from the government's account. Therefore, these transfer payments are difficult to calculate in national income. So first theoretical difficulties is transfer of payments because these payments are get transferred. There is no correct picture of whether it should be included in national income because government is spending, government is transferring the money and a individual is receiving the money, but there is no clear picture that whether this transfer payment should be included in national income. Second comes income of illegal income. Illegal income means that incomes which are earned through illegal activities, which are like gambling, black marketing, theft, smuggling, etc. Now these incomes are not included in national income because such goods and services do not have value and meet the needs of the consumers. So these income are not included in national income. Then comes unpaid services. Unpaid services means services for which there is no payment done. So for example, if a person is painting, so painting is a hobby of a person, so that is not included as a work and it is just considered as unpaid service. Then a mother is taking care of the children or a housewife is taking care of a house. This all will not be considered as they are giving they are not, these values are not considered while calculating national income. It is just remain as unpaid services. So by excluding all such services from it, the national income will work out to be less than what it actually is. So national income is not calculated by number of goods and services. National income is always measured in money, but there are number of goods and services which are difficult to be assessed in terms of money. And these services are example of it, like painting of a person, a hobby, painting hobby of a person, or taking care of children, or taking care of house. Then we come to production for self-consumption. Goods which are produced for self-consumption, such as food grains, vegetables, and other farm products, they do not enter into the market because they are kept for their self-consumption. A farmer keeps some amount of such production for self-consumption. But the value of such goods are estimated, means approximate value is calculated, and thus they do not give a clear picture to the how much is the amount, and therefore production which are self for the self consumption becomes one of the difficulty while calculating national income. Then comes income of foreign firms. Income of foreign firms means, according to IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, income of a foreign firm should be included in the national income of the country. Now, foreign firm means, for example, a company. So, for example, if you talk about McDonald's, McDonald's is not an Indian company, it is foreign company which is working in India. But whatever profit a McDonald's is generating in India, that will not be calculated in Indian national income. That will go to the parent company. Parent company means the McDonald's original company. Maybe it is not from the India, it is from other countries. So whatever profit that McDonald's is generating, McDonald's is getting, giving that will be given to the other country and not the India. So again, a correct calculation we do not get from the foreign firms. Then comes valuation of government services. That is, government provides number of public service like defense, public administration, law and order, etc. Now, measuring the market value of such government service is difficult, as the real value of these services is not known. Therefore, it has become a convention to treat all such activities, all such services as final consumption. Hence, it is included in national income. So again, these values are included in national income, and it does not give a clear idea about the actual amount of national income. Then comes last point, that is changing price level. The difficulty of price changes arise in national income estimate when the price level in the country rises. That if a price level of a country increases, it shows a growth in the national income even if production is less, because there is hike in the price level. And opposite of that, that is, if there is reduction in the price level, even if a country is doing well, but still it will show a low level of national income. So national income, because of that, may show a decrease even though production may have increased. So because of this changing in price level, that is, higher the price level, higher will be the national income even if production is low, and lower is price level, lower will be the national income even if production is still high. So this controversy does not give a clear picture of national income. Now, these are the theoretical difficulties of calculating national income. Let us see the practical difficulties of calculating national income. Now, first point of national income, practical difficulties of national income is problem of double counting. Now, problem of the double counting, it arises from the failure to distinguish properly between a final and intermediate product. That is, we cannot distinguish properly between a final product and intermediate product. Like for example, if we talk about a bakery product, now for bakery, wheat, if we go in sequence, first wheat is purchased. Now from wheat, flour is wheat is converted into flour. So flour becomes intermediate product of wheat. But same time, if we talk about a house requires flour, so directly they purchase flour from the shop. So this flour becomes a final product for a house. Same flour becomes intermediate product for a bakery shop or a bakery shop where they actually prepare bread and all. So here the problem of double counting arises, and therefore it does not give a clear idea of national income. Then comes existence of non-monetized sector. Non-monetized sector means sectors which are not money oriented. Now you can give example of agriculture. Like India, agriculture still being in the nature of subsistence farming in the developing countries, a major part of the output is consumed at the farm itself, and a part of production is partly exchanged for other goods and services. Now, if we talk about agriculture, a farmer is producing, but some part is keeping for themselves. So, such production and consumption cannot be calculated in national income. Now, what the products which a farmer has kept for themselves, which cannot be calculated in national income. Then comes inadequate and unreliable data. Adequate and correct production and cost data are not available in developing country like India. These data are related to crops, fisheries, animal husbandry, forestry, then activities of petty shopkeepers. Petty means shrewd shopkeepers, construction workers and small enterprises. And that is the reason national income of a country will not show as its actual. Some people which do not show actual data of their production, then also from uh, other activities just now I described, like animal husbandry, fisheries, forestry, all from activities we do not get adequate and correct data. And some people are like that, they do not disclose correct data to the government. So that is a problem, that national income will not give a correct idea, correct figure of the earning. Then comes depreciation. Now, what is the meaning of depreciation? We have already learned. Depreciation refers to wear and tear of capital assets due to their uses in process of production. Wear and tear means which gets spoiled after some period of time. Now, depreciation of capital asset will depend on technical life of the asset, the intensity of its use, the nature of its assets, regular and careful maintenance. All these things gives a depreciation value of an asset. Means for how long that particular product is used, how you have maintained. For example, if you talk about a mobile, now if you sell your mobile after 6 months of your purchasing, then we see how is that mobile working, whether it is still giving that much battery power, whether all such features, whether all the storage capacity is still there, how is the mobile maintained. So all these things are taken into consideration. There are no uniform, common, or accepted standard rates of depreciation applicable to the various capital assets. So, in case of depreciation, one has to make many reasonable assumptions. So, we need to make assumptions. If we talk about a depreciation value, then we need to make assumptions. We do not have a correct correct picture that according to this rule only depreciation will be calculated. There is no correct rules or regulations for depreciation. It depends on how that particular product is maintained and how that particular product is taken care of. Basis on that we make assumptions, and so depreciation does not give clear idea of national income. Then comes capital gains or losses. Capital gains or losses means, for example, if we talk about owners, we buy a house, and after 10 years if we find its value, we can get more than what we have purchased, we can get less than what we have purchased amount. So these changes do not result from the current economic activities, because house is purchased in particular year or shop is purchased in particular year and it is sold after certain years. So it does not give a clear idea of national of its value, and therefore it cannot be included in national income. Then comes illiteracy and ignorance. Now India is a developing country and there are so many people who are still not very educated, and they are ignorant, and they are not in position to keep any account of their productive activities. So they cannot give information about the quantity or value of their output, and hence the estimates of production and earned income are simply guesses. Then comes difficulties in the classification of working population. That is, we cannot diversify how many people are actually working, because as we said, some services are unpaid services. So even though they are working, it will not be categorized under working population. For example, housewife. A housewife is working 24 by 7, but that whatever work a housewife is doing, it will not be considered as under working area, and therefore that activity will not be calculated. So there is also difficulties in classification of working population. And then comes valuation of inventories. Valuation of inventories means whatever products we require for a production purpose. For example, raw materials. Then second step is intermediate goods. Then it becomes to semi-finished good. It is in hierarchy position. Then finished products means uh, inventories means in step by step way. All inventory changes, whether negative or positive, are included in the gross national product. So any mistake in measuring the value of inventory will give a wrong idea for final product. Means in inventory, if there is one calculation it at any stage, then final while calculating final product, there will be a difficulties in calculating the final products amount. So these are the difficulties while calculating national income. These are the practical difficulties. Now let us see what is the importance of national income. Now first is, it is useful for the economy. Why it is useful for the economy? Because national income is income of a country. So it is like account. It tells us how much money we have, and accordingly we can it helps the economy to grow. It tells us how the aggregate of a national income, output and products result, and from the income of different individuals, product of industries and transactions of international trade. So why it is helpful for the economy? Why it is useful for the economy? Because it gives us the idea that how much data, or how much, sorry, not data, how much money we have generated from the individual, from the big industries, from the small enterprises, from the international trade. And so we understand how our economy is growing, whether it is growing, whether it is still under the we need to work hard for our economy. So this is helpful to understand our economy. Then second is national policies. The government needs to frame different policies for the growth of a country, and these policies can be formed only if government knows how much money it has. So these figures enables us to know the direction in which the industrial output, investment and saving etc. change. So national income helps to generate economic models like growth models, investment models etc. And national income data forms the basis of national policies. Means with the help of national income data, government can frame national policies such as employment policy, industrial policy, agriculture policy etc. So with the figure, government can frame different policies, and also government can come out with different models like growth model, investment models etc. Then it is also helpful for economic planning. Now for economic planning, data pertaining to national income is very essential. If we make any planning, we need to understand how much data we have, how much income we have. So this includes data related to countries' gross income, output, savings, investment, and consumption, which can be obtained from different sources. So we can find out from different sources, that is from the income side, from output side, from consumption, from saving side, how much income we have generated, and accordingly we can plan the different economic planning, which is helpful for the national which is helpful for the nation's betterment. Then further comes economic research. Economic research is national income data is also used by the research scholars of economics. That is to make any research, to if people wants to, if there are scholars, there are scholar peoples who wants to do research. So for that, national income is very much important. This economic scholars, what they do, they make use of various data of the country's input, output, income, savings, consumption, investment, employment, etc., which are obtained from social accounts. So whatever they have obtained from different sources, accordingly they make research. Then comes comparisons of standard of living. This national income data helps us to compare the standard of living. Standard of living means how a person is living, and accordingly government can find different policies for people who are below poverty line or who are unemployed. For them, government can come out with different policies. That can be done only with understanding of national income. Then comes distribution of income. That is, national income statistics enable us to know about the distribution of income in the country from the data related to wages, rent, interest, and profit. We understand the disparities in the income. Disparities in the income is differences in the income of different sections of the society. There are different incomes given to the different sections of the society. So with the help of national income statistics, government can work on that, and government can try to bring upliftment of the people who are still living low standard of living. So with to understand all these things, national income is very much important. That is for economy, for frame different economic policies, to frame economic planning, to understand people's standard of living, and to distribute the income equally. For all these things, national income is very much important. By this, we finish chapter number 7, national income. There are 7 parts of this chapter. Next video, we will start with chapter number 8. Thank you.